Hey Parkside, welcome to this week's encouragement video. Thanks for tuning in. We regularly talk about having at Parkside a culture of discipleship where it's just normal that Christians would be making disciples. That's what it is to be a Christian. Disciples make disciples, people who follow Jesus together. And I want to share with you an encouraging story, something I heard this week where that is happening at Parkside. There was a brother in the Bible Institute who had his homework. And so he took his homework to work with him. And during his break, he was in the break room and started to do some of his Bible Institute homework. And his boss saw him and said, "Hey, what are you doing?" He said, I'm studying. And his boss said, No, I want to know. What are you doing? And this brother at Parkside said, "Well, do you really want to know?" He says, "Yes, I want to know." He said, "Are you sure you want to know?" He says, "Yes, I'm sure I want to know." "Do you really want to know?" He says, "Yes, I really want to know." 3 times they went round and round. He said, "Well, we're studying the Bible, the Gospel of Matthew, and seeing who Jesus is and how that changes our lives." And the boss had some questions. It was kind of a long story, but here's the long and the short of it. They're now reading the Gospel of Matthew together and discussing simply from this guy at Parkside saying, "Hey, I'm not going to be private about my Christian faith. And if it means I'm going to study the Bible in a public place, in the break room at work, maybe that's one thing God would use." But it's simple acts of Christian faithfulness that produce a culture of discipling where we say, hey, it's normal that I'm going to seek to make disciples. And I know more stories like that are happening where we're, as a church, being the body of Christ, sent out on mission. Sometimes we like to say that God's evangelistic program for the church is the people. Right? The people being sent out, that's the evangelistic program that they're sent out and they tell others. So let me give you just a couple simple practical ways you can think about building a culture of discipleship this week. Here's the first one. If you're with a Christian, ask them what they are praying for. Ask them what they're praying for. And here's the thing. If they're praying for some really great things, it'll help you to think more carefully about praying as the Bible would instruct us to pray. And if they're like, "Man, I don't know," then what a great way to encourage someone to have a more robust prayer life. Just ask someone, a Christian you're with, "Hey, what are you praying for?" And then here's the other thing. If you're talking to someone, you're not sure if they're a Christian, invite them to come to church with you. Invite them this Sunday, Genesis 32, clear picture of the gospel you'll see in Jacob's wrestling with God. Good Friday service coming up April 7th, Easter Sunday, April 9th. Be persistent. A lot of times you'll invite someone and they'll say, "I don't know, I'll think about it, I'll get back to you." That's fine. Just come back to them in 3 or 4 days and say, "Hey, have you had a chance to think about it? We would love to have you at Parkside on Easter." Friends, this is how we build a culture of discipleship where it's normal for Christians to make disciples. Parkside, I love you. I look forward to seeing you Sunday. We'll be in Genesis 32. Hope you read ahead. We also have our family meeting this Sunday, and I am so excited for it. So if you're a member of Parkside, please, please, please be there. We've got some new members to bring in, some things to share, ministry updates on a whole host of levels, and I hope you'll plan to be there 9 o'clock in the auditorium. Parkside, I love you. I'll see you Sunday.